Welcome to ASEAN BIZ, your only choice for business updates covering ASEAN countries. I'm Andrew Chia.
And I'm Eric Chong.
And together we bring you business news on everything that happens around the world that affects ASEAN countries. We are happy today to have with us our guest for the main story, Mr. So Wai Cheng.
And Mr. So Wai Cheng is actually an athlete, a student from Malaysia universities. He's specialized in track and fields, and his main program, main event for the track is 5,000 meters and 10,000 meters.
Wow!
And so happens that now is the Olympic week. That's why we made a small twist in our story lineup.
Yeah, welcome, Mr. So.
We talk about sports for this edition.
Say hello to our listeners.
Hello to everyone, and I would like to thank you to the host today. They invited me for to be the guest of today. Thank you.
Right.
And our direct main story today is sports career in ASEAN.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, let's look at our current business update on the topic of China and ASEAN. This article is produced courtesy of CENFIS, the Center for Financial Intelligence Studies. Okay, Andrew, what can we talk about China and ASEAN?
Yeah, recently there are a lot of news saying China market is going to crash and all that stuff, right? And that's a popular saying that when America sneezes, Europe will catch a flu. So over here in this part of the world, we are going to see what happens if China sneezes. Will ASEAN catch a flu also? That sounds dangerous, right?
Yes, and I guess that when China sneezes, not only ASEAN will catch a flu,
the
whole world might catch a flu. Because China is one of the main trading partners for all ASEAN countries, and the strongest nation in this part of the world in Asia.
And right now, China is the number 2 biggest economy in the world right now.
Right beside US, side by side. So, and they are catching up fast.
Yeah, they have overtaken Germany and Japan.
So it's something to look into. And with the growth of China, even the slowest growth in a city is comparative to a country growth.
A small country like Malaysia. So recently, or rather the past few months, there have been a lot of rumors and reports saying that China's economy is slowing down. And as time goes by, people say that China's economy is going to crash. Okay.
Yes, that's what the Westerners always wanted to look into. They always felt that when China crashes, it will give them the leeway to come back again. And of late, there have been reports of China economic slowdown, as Andrew put it earlier, and household debt increasing. The Chinese have been told to cut back on their spending and reduce their debts accordingly. It's belt tightening time.
Yeah, so spend less on Birkin bags and what other bag is that? Hermes bag,
Hermes bag, LV, and all these so-called glamorous
not only
brands.
Chinese spending on these bags, right? Malaysians also.
Well, Malaysians, as usual, would like to follow. That's what our normal trend is.
Yeah. So over the past few months, or rather half a year ago, China have not been really slowing down. But of late, we hear actually our friends going to China and saying that, the market there is really slowing down. People are buying less, right? Eric, have you heard of your friends coming back with that report?
Yes, and probably they are just going to be more prudent in their spending. Unlike those days, the Chinese will just buy whatever things that comes within their eyesight.
Yeah, usually when we talk about buying things and shopping with all the bags in our Mid-Valley, KLCC and all that, a lot of times you see people buying with credit cards, right? So that will increase the household debt. You have to pay your credit card debt, your personal loans and all that.
But the Chinese are coming in with cash.
Wow. Okay. But then it seems that China's household debt has also increased. That's why now the government is asking them to slow down. Hey, stop buying so much on credit.
Right.
So let's take a look at how the household debt situation in China has grown over the past few years. Eric, do you have the figures?
Right. Over here, the China's household debts to GDP rose from 30% in 2013 to 40% in 2016.
Wow, that's a big jump of 10%.
US is 80%. UK is 90%.
Wow.
And Canada is almost 100%.
Hey, Eric, you are saying that there's still a lot of room for the Chinese to borrow, right?
To borrow and buy more.
But the government says that stop
Yeah, probably they
so
are
much already.
practicing prudent measures, and we know that China actually comes out from a very bad situations
while
during
we
the
are at it,
wartime.
How about our country, Malaysia?
Malaysia is no
household
far
debt?
behind. Malaysia is also 100%. Make a guess. Which country will crash first?
Does that give you any confidence?
So interesting, all this story.
So on the other hand, China's national debts to GDP also rose from 30% to 40% from 2013 to 2016.
Exactly the same as their household
Same as
debt.
the household debts. So they increased relatively, as they put it in the bar charts.
So, Eric, I want to ask you the question. Is 40% debts compared to GDP as in China, is it considered high or low or acceptable?
Well, if you put into percentage, it might not be high. But when you convert that percentage into dollars and figures, it will be extremely high.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's a good answer. But
Because
we are actually looking at percentage of GDP because
Yes.
that's what the World Bank and the IMF.
Yes, because the
considers,
World Bank or IMF ideal is less than 60% of GDP. So US is 100%, Malaysia is 60%, which means to say that China still have a lot of rooms to grow.
Oh, okay. So US is 100%. And there are a lot of people saying that Malaysia is owing too much debt. But it looks like we are only 60%, right?
Well, it depends on who is saying who and who is saying what.
The official figure.
The
of course,
official
there are people who
figures,
say that
you know.
the unofficial figure is
And on the
160%.
overall, we can see that Malaysians, most of them are quite prudent with their spending and borrowings, especially as though in the rural areas, you don't see them borrow a lot of money. You know, so those who spend a lot of money are those with credit cards in the city center.
Yeah.
And we can see young people overspending with credit cards and went into bankruptcy before the age 30.
Right. So in this article, we are actually talking about China, but it looks like China is being eclipsed by Malaysia and US and so many other countries, right?
Yes.
You see that China is only owning about 30 or 40% of their GDP. Of course, like you say, the figure in terms of dollars is very high. But of course, we have to compare that to their own GDP, right?
Yes. And if you compare it to India, in fact, India got much more room to grow.
Yeah. You see which country you're comparing with, isn't it? So if you compare the highest on the chart that our listeners cannot see, which is the highest in the country there?
Well, the highest is Canada. Okay.
There's almost 100%, right? Of
And
their GDP.
can't blame it because during the recent 1-2 years, the oil price have been declining.
Yeah, so Canada. oil.
So Canada income is very much dependent on oil, which makes them very vulnerable to household debts in a way. Right.
So if you take a closer look at China's analysis, their household debt, of course, is only about 30 or 40% of their GDP. How about their countries, the debt owed by the government?
Well, in fact, the debts owned by the government is also not that much. Right?
Yeah, it's only about
40%.
40%.
It's
okay.
not that much, you know.
Compared to America.
And in fact, their corporate own much more.
Yeah, America's government debt is almost 100%. Okay, if you talk about the biggest economies in the world, right?
I think Japan is the highest.
Yeah, of
The
course,
government
Japan
owns
is
200%.
200%, yeah.
So these are the things that give us some indicators, and there's nothing much we can do about it.
So if you want to forecast which country is going to have a big problem with the economy, so looks like China is lining up recently their big jump in their household as well as government debt. But then if you compare that with US or the UK or Europe, they are still slightly behind.
And
So-
we got to see how big is the bar and how long is the bar.
But looking at the market right now, China seems to be slowing down and it has really affected a lot of countries, and their business in China itself is slowing down. So the question today we are going to ask is that what happens if China really slows down on their economy? For many years they have been having double-digit growth, right?
Yes.
10, 11% or 12%. Right now it's down to maybe 6-7%, and if it slows down further, it might go down to 5%. So which country in ASEAN is going to be affected the most?
Well, according to some research done, firstly, if we look at Singapore, has a 19% of its GDP going to China in the form of exports. So that which means to say that Singapore, 19% of their trades are dependent of China.
It's the ASEAN country that is most related to China in form of their economy, right?
Yes. And then secondly will be Vietnam, because 12% of it goes to China in terms of exports.
Yeah, China affects 12% of its GDP. If there's any problem with China, 12% of their GDP will be affected.
And I think our listeners will have a small question here. What is Singapore exporting to China? Is constitute 19% of its GDP to China.
So Singapore has a lot of
because we know
right?
that Singapore is a very small country with no natural resources.
How they going to export things?
And how they're going to export things to China.
Export expertise services.
Well, that's one possibility. Because Singapore is
Full of talent.
And one thing, they are very outgoing. Whenever any opportunities in the ASEAN countries or around the world, they will be there.
As a developed country, Singapore might have some quality goods to export, right?
Yeah, probably some high-tech products and high-tech services or high-tech research. Because recently, if you heard about their premier talk about their National Day speech, they are very embarking on a high-tech research, R&D, and creating new jobs for their up-and-coming new citizens. Younger citizens. So these are the foresight of Singapore, which they sees that if you're too dependent on natural resources, which they don't have, the fate of your country is doomed.
So we have talked about Singapore and Vietnam. How about our country, Malaysia, Eric?
Malaysia is not too bad. We placed third is Malaysia. We have 9% of its GDP going to China in exports. It's worth mentioning that China accounts for investment to Malaysia is up to 2% of its GDP. That is $20 billion. Ringgit.
So China invests in Malaysia, right?
And recently we actually see a lot of China contractors actually coming into Malaysia.
A lot of Chinese investments. Recently they bought that piece of land under 1 MDB, right?
Yeah. That is
also an investment, isn't it?
Possible. You don't know yet to see the results yet.
So let's hope China
let's not comment about that.
And invest more money in Malaysia.
Yeah, because the last I heard that is they actually bought an island just a bit out of Johor to develop into their own little Chinatown.
And I heard the Wanda Group, one of the biggest commercial groups in China, is also coming to Malaysia to invest and do business.
So we can see that there's a lot of property developers actually coming to Malaysia, right? So these are the things that the Malaysians developer have to look out for, because foreign competitions are coming in.
So we just hope that China doesn't slow down and keep up all its investments to Malaysia and buy more stuff and more properties from us,
right?
So that we can make more money.
So
how about Thailand, Eric? Is
Thailand
affected if China slows
also
down?
affected, but it's not that much. Thailand is only 6% of its GDP, whereas Philippines only 2.3% of its GDP going to China.
Philippines and Indonesia not so bad.
Yeah, so the least affected will be Indonesia, with only 2% of its GDP going to China in exports. So I think probably the 2% is mostly their oil palms and palm.
And cigarettes, maybe?
Cigarettes. Well, possible. We know that Indonesia actually produce a lot of cigarettes.
So we just hope and pray that our very strong neighbor and Taiko, China, becomes very healthy and strong all the time, so that ASEAN countries like Malaysia will continue to do booming business with them. So, Eric, do you have any other advice for countries like Singapore who do a lot of business with China in case anything happens,
Well, we as a radio host are not in a position to advise, but to our personal opinion, I felt that with 19% of its GDP going to China, it's time for them to look into other countries. And I believe that Singapore...
would be a very interesting question, Eric. I was thinking about that. How about diversifying and doing less business with China and do more with the America or Europe? on second thoughts, these countries are not much better off than China, isn't it?
Well, it's possible when you see the EU start to breaking up, then probably
we recently have Brexit, right?
Yes, so
And
there will be
Brexit
more.
is around the corner.
More will be coming up, so we can
Portugal and
actually
Spain.
see the EU actually breaks up. So when
Yeah.
that thing happens, we would know what
Can
going to
you
happen.
imagine if a consultant advised Singaporeans businessmen to do business with Europeans and the Americans, and then suddenly they have a big sneeze over there?
Yes, and probably I think their Singaporeans are actually diversing to other countries. We can actually see their presence very strongly in Myanmar and Vietnam. So these are also in the ASEAN regions, which I would say that will actually give them a more positive growth.
Right. And the other advice or tip which may be useful is that don't worry so much about the country,
Yes.
because every country may have problems, but if your particular customer buying from you is strong, whether they are from China or from America, it's fine, isn't it?
It's fine, it's no
Eric,
problem.
Don't you think so?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just concentrate on your own self.
Yeah, so make sure you pick and choose the good customers who buys a lot from you,
Yeah.
allows you to make a healthy margin, and pays you promptly.
Good.
Isn't that good advice?
That will be good. We are very down to earth persons, and any government policy is not within us to change or within us to control.
Great, yeah. Okay, guys, we'll be back shortly with more interesting updates on ASEAN Biz. Stay tuned. Welcome back, folks. You're listening to ASEAN Biz. Before we bring on our main story for this edition, Eric is going to share with us his funny business moment. And the title of his story today is Little Johnny.
Little Johnny's father noticed that Johnny was spending way too much time playing computer games. In an effort to motivate little Johnny into focusing more attention on his schoolwork, his father said, "When Abraham Lincoln was your age, he was studying books by the light of the fireplace." Little Johnny's gently reminded was that when Abraham Lincoln was your age, he was the President of the United States.
That was a good one.
Okay. So, fathers
Okay
and
lah.
parents,
Daddy
okay,
give a piece of advice. The son also give him
okay,
back a piece of advice.
don't always talk something that is out of context.
Right, thank you, Eric, for that funny business moment. Guys, you're listening to ASEAN Biz, your only choice for business updates covering ASEAN countries. I'm your host, Andrew Chia, and together with me is Eric Chong, and we bring you business news on everything that involves ASEAN countries. And the title of our Durian Main story today is
Sports Career in ASEAN. And in our studio today is Mr. So Wai Ching. Okay, why Mr. So Wai Ching? Because Mr. So Wai Ching is actually an athlete representing Malaysia Malaysia universities.
That's great, Eric, for a change.
And this, for a change, we are talking about sports.
And
this
we have a
seasons.
young chap in our studio today.
He's very young.
Old folks
He's
like
still
us.
a student. Okay, and he's pursuing his academics in sports science. Okay, Mr. So, maybe you'll just give a brief introduction of yourself to our listeners.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you the host, Eric Chong and Andrew Chia. Okay, I'm Wai Ching. I'm So Wai Ching from KL. I'm staying in Selayang. Okay, I'm 22 years old this year.
Wow.
And I'm a third year student starting from this coming September after this sem break. I'm currently in sem break. So I'm studying in sports science, major in exercise science. And then this is what I want since after when I started running. So this is my passion and I like to focus more in it and then do a PhD in this study.
Fantastic.
So, what made you choose sports science as an academic of your choice instead of others topic? Is that your first preference, or did you do a lot of research into these courses? Because sports science are quite new in Malaysia.
Yeah.
And actually, not many parents would have agreed to their children taking up sports science.
Yes.
Because the parents, despite being very shallow, okay, they don't see futures in sports.
Yeah, true.
Okay, maybe you can give some in-depth views of what you find.
Okay, it's actually a long story. At first, when I'm in secondary school, I think of to becoming a
Lawyer.
a lawyer. A lawyer, I think of that before.
Okay,
And then
doctor?
also a doctor, maybe no. I'm more likely to be a scientist actually, like more to biology side. But then when I started running, my sister brought me into running, like running road race in the recent Standard Chartered KL Marathon. I've joined it maybe 4 years ago in 2011, 2012 as well. So it brings me the feeling of joy when I finish the race, and then I started off to collect all these medals, and then with all these t-shirts given by the race director, because when we pay, then we got the t-shirt, and then the t-shirt looks nice and good quality.
Okay.
So that's the starting of why I started off running. And then when I started off running after when I'm in Form 6 that time, and then I realize I'm getting faster. It's like, oh, okay, I able to hit podium. Like, wow, accidentally in one of the race, I targeted top 10, and then I got really number 10 in that race. So I really felt so touched.
Yeah,
And then I
discovered talent, right?
Yes, it suddenly just came into me. It's like, wow, I can do better in sports. At first, I didn't know that. I'm just a normal student, study hard, but then not good enough compared to others. So
That makes you very excited, right?
yes, and then I started off training harder, and now I'm a student athlete, and I represent my university for all these upcoming events like Masum. We have a local university track events, all these things. I'm representing Malaysia, and I got a few medals from there.
Wow.
So can't believe it. Like, I started running it just a few years ago, and then I can do better than others. I'm so happy with that.
So you mean within a few years you have become a medal junkie,
Yes.
collecting medals everywhere and
Yup.
t-shirts,
Yep.
and
And
that makes you very excited and happy.
yes.
Great,
After I got all these medals, I got now about 130 medals in 5 years time.
You're a serious junkie.
And then I got addicted to running. Actually, it's like how people addicted to smoking, and I'm addicted to running.
Well, at least that's a very good addictions. So, what sort of career path do you see that as a sports science students? Probably, how do you chart your career?
Yeah.
I think this new subject has got a lot of potential simply
Yes.
because, like Eric says, not many people are doing it. I can still remember those days, Mr. So, when my schoolmates and my friends from the school, they all went to study computer science. At that time, it was a new subject. But when they graduated, all of them came back with a computer science degree. And
Yes.
they can't find a job.
They can't find a job, and
Everybody got that degree.
and they found out that non-graduate like us can handle the computer better
Yeah,
than them.
we learn how to fix the computer.
We know how to take apart the computers. We know how to fix back the computers, which makes them totally ashamed of their studies.
So sports science, I believe in future there will be a lot of potential.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we can see that slowly each and individual countries are actually paying attention to sports, especially when sports actually related to physical fitness, and physical fitness could relate to physical health.
True.
So with physical fitness and physical health, actually we can see that the nations will become healthier.
Yes, and then the efficiency to produce more things. I mean, those
Yes.
workers, they are more efficient. They are more in a way that they work better. Like you see in Japan, their government allow them to have a nap in the evening time, in the noon time, so that they can work better. And then their country, they put more attention in the sports. Like Japan, you can see their runners are really fast. Like, any one of them come to Malaysia, they can be the number one. It's like so.
They're very health
good.
conscious.
Yes.
Yeah, very activity conscious.
Yeah,
activity.
that's how the importance
And
of sports.
not only in Japan, in fact, if we will see in our neighboring country, we
Singapore.
can see that Singapore also very serious into their
they are
sports.
getting up.
And sad to say, in Malaysia, a lot of people who are involved in certain sports are actually taking it very casually.
Yes,
and
true.
not really serious into it.
Yeah.
Serious into it in the sense that not being competitive, but actually looking into the mechanics of their sports.
Yeah, they actually like to run the race and then they post it on their Facebook.
So it's more for gratification.
Yeah, more on sharing their joy rather than focus and competitively. This is what I'm quite a bit with it. Yeah, we should focus more in competitive, because maybe I'm the kind of people who like to competitive. So yeah, that's my opinion, my personal opinion.
Yeah.
So
So coming back to the career path of as a sports science student, what sort of scopes that you can actually seize the whole thing broadens?
Okay, from me, I'm a third year student after this. When come into September. So what I'm studying in University of Malaya, I've know a lot that we can do. We can actually achieve after we graduate from sports science. Like we can be an exercise physiologist to behind support the national team. Like Malaysia team, they need to know about their running techniques, and then their sports in swimming, their diet. Yeah, we learn sports nutrition as well. We can be a nutritionist, and we can be even a physiotherapist as well. We can help in improving their performance by doing a little bit all these studies behind them, know more about them, even biomechanics as well. Like how they run, the position, the landing, and then all that efficiency, the hand swing as well. All these little things can count into the performance. Yeah,
yes,
which is very important.
And when you talk about landing, we actually noticed a serious incident recently in the Olympics.
Yes.
A missed landing actually cost the gymnast
French gymnast.
The French gymnast broke his leg. And it's no joke when you broke the tibia, because the tibia, as they put it, is harder than concrete.
Yes.
Tibia and fibula, both.
And fibula, both. So it's
very important.
It's very important to all this, and we can see that a lot of countries are actually paying attention to sports.
Yes.
And we also can see that a lot of sportsmen make money, and as also a very successful businessman.
Other than that, we can also be a race director. Like recently in Malaysia, every weekend we have race. Like all these races are organized by runner. Like all these runners, they find out that they organize a race, and then people get to sign up, pay money, like 50 ringgit for 10k. They just only give them a shirt and a bib number, and then they earn, like, let's say a race, 3,000 runner, 3,000 runner times 50 ringgit. How much it is roughly?
Yeah, it's still a business.
Yeah, it's a business. And then they just need to get some volunteers to help up, and then maybe pay some fees to them, some
of course there will be cost. There will be cost in organizing.
It's all about money.
It's all about money.
That's why ASEAN BIZ is about money and business.
Money and business. So today we are talking about how sports can become a business.
Yeah, even you can create your own brand after that, like Li-Ning.
Li-Ning
in China.
And so many brands. We have a national gymnast over here in Malaysia who sells his brand of mattresses and stuff like that to all the other gyms around the country, and do good business. So Mr. So, I believe after studying, there are so many ways and so many avenues where you can do marketing. Everything can make more money.
Yes, true. As long as you are creative enough, you can create something. It's like recently the Pokemon Go. How it creates it, and then it makes people to move around to get the Pokemon, to catch the Pokemon. It's actually an idea that if you have made it an idea, then it's gonna be
it's all
make
a business
money.
idea.
True.
You know, Pokemon has been around for more than 10 years, right?
More than that.
Almost
actually.
20 years.
Yeah, but they
20,
didn't make so much money, I believe, as compared to the latest games.
Apps, yes.
Yeah, because 20 years back, they don't have this kind of technology.
They actually have
apps yet.
No apps, no smartphones.
Actually, they have a Game Boy actually in the beginning. When I'm also playing, I'm also a fan of Pokemon. Before I
you're telling me I have a full collection of Pokemon characters, figurines, right? And okay, that belongs to my children. But we have all the characters. I think 100 over characters.
Yeah, it's more than
all
that
the
now.
small figures.
Yes, true.
Right. So
actually, Mr. So, I believe it's high time that sports really look more into making money. You know, all these EPL football teams, their sponsors. All these sponsors are counting in terms of millions and maybe even billions of dollars in even advertising revenue.
True.
And recently, a gym in US actually sold their whole franchise chain for $4 billion US.
Wow.
Can you imagine a gym can worth $4 billion US?
Right. It's all about money.
It's all about money, and how the buyer can actually turn that around. That is their story, right? So, in the meantime, we will take a short break and be back with our story shortly. So stay tuned, guys.
Thank you.
Welcome back. You're listening to ASEAN BIZ, and our Durian main story today is sports career in ASEAN. But before we continue with the concluding part of our story today, as usual, Eric will give us a quick health tip, and his story for today is skip energy drinks when you're tired.
Well, we now know that when you are tired, we always grab energy drinks. But through a research, energy drinks contain up to 5 times more caffeine than coffee.
Wow.
But the boost they provide is fleeting and comes with unpleasant side effects
In
like
that case, I better stick to coffee, right?
yes, like nervousness, irritability, and rapid heartbeats, says Amy Goodson, a resident dietitian of Texas Health in sports medicines. Plus, energy drinks often contain high levels of taurine, a central nervous system stimulant, and upwards of 50 grams of sugar per can. That's 13 teaspoons worth.
Wow, that's a lot.
The sweet stuff spikes blood sugar temporarily, only to crash soon after, leaving you sluggish and foggy-headed and reaching for another energy drinks.
So energy drink, Eric, usually refers to Red Bull or things like that, right?
Red Bull, we don't want to mention names, okay? Right,
famous,
but why I come up with this article, because just before this articles I extracted, we have a actually short discussion about energy drinks with few athletes.
Yes.
It's a local athletes, they are sports person and sportswoman, they are well known, and actually said to say
addicted to energy drinks.
they're addicted to energy drinks, and
A lot
they
of people
felt
are addicted.
and they felt that energy drinks actually boost them up.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is true for
Which
a
is
short
true
while.
for a short while, because I personally experienced it. When I did my endurance run, I have half a can of Red Bull.
Ah,
After taking that Red Bull,
immediately you feel very energetic.
2 km down the road, I'm dead already.
Yeah,
Because at that 2 km, my heartbeat shoots up like nobody business, and I was sweating.
Mm.
You know,
Time
so
to take another can of Red Bull, right?
so you felt that you wanted to go, but actually you can't go on anymore because your heart already boosted too high. Which that's why a lot of athletes that don't know about all these things, when the heartbeat is boosted too high, it will cause heart seizures.
yes.
Then they say
Dangerous, right?
then they say marathon kills the guy.
Yeah, they blame the
Then
marathon.
they blame the marathons. It's common for people who have died. They will blame the last thing that they did.
Yes, true.
Right,
that
so
you know,
it's very human
blame
nature, but
Yeah.
without proper understanding of what they have taken and what their lifestyles, we always come to that conclusions.
Yes.
So this is just a small tips before you reach for that energy drinks. Think twice.
So that means the advice is stay away from energy drinks.
Yes, just
Whether
plain
you are tired
water.
or not tired.
Yeah,
Is that
just
good
plain
advice?
just plain water. If
Yep.
you feel that really tired, I think glucoline will help.
Yeah, the normal one. There's
Normal
another
glucoline.
alternative that you can put salt into your water, which boosts up your ion. Because when we run, we sweat, and then the sweat contains the ions. All these ions like potassium, sodium from our body, which enable us for the muscle contraction. We need all these ions. That's one of the reasons that we cramps when we run a marathon or endurance event. We run halfway.
Lack of the ions.
Yeah, lack of all these ions that our contraction, the muscle contraction parts required all these ions. So without it, we will have cramps. We might have cramps for those who sweat a lot. Yeah,
Yes.
different body have different sweat rate as well.
And during the recent KL marathon, we have actually seen a lot of people having muscle cramps along the way.
Yeah, true.
And it's a good thing I didn't cramp. It's just that I ran halfway through, my stomach was empty and my fuel reserve was totally out. So the last 10 km for me is actually a torture.
So Eric, before we move on, one last question about this energy drink stuff. Is energy drinks actually good for you? And if yes, when would be a good time to consume energy drinks?
Well, if you put it simply, my personal opinion is that energy drinks is never good for you.
So it's never a good time to
It's
consume.
never a good time to consume energy drinks, especially those who are sedentary.
Yes.
We have seen drivers, we have seen people sitting out the couch or just sitting around. After a few walks, they go for
Energy
the isotonic drinks, they go for a Red Bull, they go for
Hey
Levita.
Eric, you know what? You're really a lousy advertiser for Red Bull and the other brand. What's his name? Starts with the V or something like that,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Too bad. It's a fact, but it's yet to be proved. Actually, it's proven scientifically. It's just that the paper cannot be released because all these energy drinks manufacturers are the biggest taxpayer
Right.
and the biggest sponsorships of a lot of sports event.
Yeah.
Sad to say it. Right. But
So guys,
we don't want to harbor on that one.
yeah,
Right.
you have just received a wonderful health tip not available anywhere else due to reasons just mentioned.
Right.
Thank you, Eric. That's a wonderful, great health tip. Let's
So-
continue with our Durian main story today. That
And
is sports
career in ASEAN. And we have Mr. So Wei Ching here. So on the second part, maybe Mr. So or Wei Ching can share some of your experiences as a competitive athlete.
Yeah, okay.
Before we move on to the serious money-making part.
Okay. So I'm started a normal runner actually. I'm started as a leisure runner in the beginning.
What are your favorite events?
My favorite events are all these road race organized by a lot of organizer behind it, like a 5 km fun run. I started off fun run in the beginning because I'm not over 18 to be run a 10k. So I started off with a 5k fun run in the Standard Chartered KL Marathon. So yeah, that was my first race. And then to be a competitive, I mean, I'm from leisure runner, and then when I'm started running, collect all these medals and t-shirts and all these items, all these goodies actually. Even you finish the run, you get a goodies. So all these I like to collect. And then I didn't know that I spent a lot of money actually.
and actually, besides that, I follow through your progresses, and I can actually see that most of the time you win prizes.
Yeah,
right.
recently
You won a lot of prizes in terms of cash money, in terms of cash vouchers.
Yeah.
You know? So probably this will actually support you in a
You
way.
managed to cheat back the sponsors.
Not really cheap back.
Oh.
It's actually a tremendous effort to actually run a 10 km in 35 minutes on 34 minutes.
Yeah,
Right.
true.
So I believe that in Malaysia, even the fastest runner in 10
32
km
maybe,
is about
31 to 32
31 to 32
at the moment.
at the moment. So
Yeah.
it's just a difference of 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
You're talking about 5k.
10k.
10
10K,
km.
okay.
Right.
Is 10k an Olympic event?
Yes.
Yes,
A
it's
10,000
in
meter.
10,000 meters in the
Okay.
track.
Yeah.
So,
in the
Mr.
track.
So, when would you be representing Malaysia for the Olympics?
Oh, that will be unknown. It's quite it's very hard to say this. I might have the chance through wildcard maybe in the future, but it's hard to say unless I be the Malaysia national record holder. I mean, that's my dream to actually break the
What's the
Malaysia
record in Malaysia right now?
The record for 10,000 meter is actually 29. 29 plus from Mr. Ramachandran. The record already stood here for 22 years.
Oh my god.
He's actually my age. He's like this Ramachandran. He broke the record in and then he got it 29 minutes. And he's a SEA Games gold medalist for 10,000 meter. He's a top runner in Asia last
For
time.
Rama.
Which means to say 20 years ago with a much more older technology, he's
Yeah.
able to have that kind
Yeah.
of speeds.
He's a
And
hardworking
in
guy.
this 20 years time with nutrition technology,
Yeah.
shoes technologies, even clothing technologies
Yeah.
come
How
into
about steroids?
pictures, also can't beat that record.
Yeah.
So do you see that it's human power or technology power now?
Actually, from my personal opinion, I believe is actually human power is the most important thing. Like if you work smart, okay, let's say you work really smart, like you don't train much because you focus more on recovery. But actually, hard work. I believe hard work is actually one of the main important key to be a fast runner, to be a really competitive runner. All these mechanics helps in you maybe about 10%. There's a word saying that 90% come from your hard work and 10%. I mean 90% from your hard work and 10% is a talent. I mean other part they play in role that just a little small percentage. Like all these supplements, they help, but not much. It's all about your hard work. If you can, let's say I'm from a runner, they run a 50 minutes. So it is impossible for them to have all these supplement and all these shoes technology. They can go into 30 minutes. It's almost impossible. Without hard work, you can't really hit that timing.
Yeah. So you can actually see that from Wei Ching's passions, it actually boils down to your hard work and your ability to actually surpass yourself. And we know that recently there's an ASEAN Universities meet in Singapore,
Yeah.
which Wai Cheng has represented Malaysia,
Yeah.
right, as one of the university's contestants.
Did you win a medal, Mr. So?
Oh, too bad I didn't.
Okay, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Important
At
thing
least
to
you have
participate.
participated, and it's actually a very good experience to cross-culture
Yes,
learning.
that's my first time representing Malaysia University to
I'm sure
this
you will
level.
definitely win a medal the next time you compete.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I will have more confidence in the next time. After these 2 years, I know all this
Exposure.
about. Yeah, I have a lot of. I learned a lot from different country, their culture, their running, how they train well. So in Malaysia, if I mean, I have to go through these ASEAN University Games. I participate in 5,000 meter and 10,000 meter tracks. So I learn a lot from my competitor, how they train, and then what technology they use. I mean, what are the programs like? Like
Which country is the best in these two events?
in these two events, from my point of view and from the result, it shows that Vietnam
Wow.
got the first placing in 5,000 meter.
It's hard
Wow.
to comprehend that a country like Vietnam can generate such a fast runner.
Yeah.
You know, so we always comprehend that probably the more advanced country like Singapore
Yeah.
or Malaysia, even Thailand will come up with a fastest runner.
Yeah.
Eric, I believe the Vietnamese are very hardworking.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, maybe their
probably
culture.
it's their culture and the food.
So
Yes.
congratulations to Vietnam
Right.
Yeah.
for
So
winning the events.
so is this your first competitions outside of Malaysia or inter countries or within ASEAN?
I have go to Singapore. I went to Singapore for a road race before this, and I got second place. I lost to a Singaporean, a Singapore top runner. So I got second from that race, and then this is my second time. I mean, this is the first time I brought the Malaysia flag on my shoulder for this race.
Wow,
Wow.
I
And
can
then-
imagine the pride.
The
Yeah,
pride.
it's really excited in the beginning. That
And we can see that today he's wearing the Malaysia flag T-shirts.
Yeah.
So afterward, we will take a photograph with him together
Yeah, post
and
it on
post
our
it on
website.
our website,
Okay.
and everybody will know how handsome So Wai Cheng is, and he's still a young man.
Thank you. So actually, okay, from these ASEAN University Games, I've learned a lot, and then I know what mistake I've made in this event. That how to run a good race in 5,000 meter. Actually, I'm still a new beginner in a track events compared to road race. I'm actually more on road race. I'm more experienced in road race, running a road race, because I know when to tackle and when to hold the pace. But in tracks, I don't have much experience because I only run. I think I can count by my fingers 10 track event only maximum I ran.
Right.
Yeah.
But Mr. So, I believe while you are studying sports science, is it helpful to your actual performance on the track?
Yes, it's true, because I learned how all these intensity activity, like in a 5,000 and 10,000 meter, is actually more on aerobic system. We're using aerobic system for
Help the body
our
to
event.
recover.
Yes, for the body to in the running event, we use aerobic system, and then we need to focus more on high carbs. I mean, carbohydrate is our main source of energy, other than fat, because actually fats are consuming as well. I mean, fats are also part of energy, but with our pace, we're running at really about 90 to 100%. So that's the effort. We need more carbs in order to get the energy. And then that's I experienced a lot, and then I learned how to
sports
pacing
science
as well.
can
Yes,
actually
yeah.
help
yes.
your performance, right?
Yes.
So with all your competitiveness, okay, we look a bit on the business side.
Right.
So during this journey, how were you supported?
Okay, I'm now sponsored by a few branding in Malaysia, such as the Garmin Malaysia. It's actually a started. It's a
Is it a
GPS.
GPS
It's
watch?
It's
it's
a GPS?
actually a navigation company. It's like
Right.
all those days last time.
Yes, we
when
heard
we are
about
using
Garmin's.
we
It's
are
the first
using-
GPS company in Malaysia, right?
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
And then you use it for navigator, like navigate from
Yeah,
a place
I used
to a
that
place.
before. maybe like 15 years ago doing my survey.
Yeah.
And those days we only use a handheld Garmin, and by owning a Garmin, you are actually at the top of the technology.
State of the art.
State of the
during
art
that time.
during that time.
But comparatively today, you would actually swear and curse. Right?
Yeah, now we have all these ways, all these apps that help us. So actually, Garmin, the main is actually by the Eco Technologies. Actually, they are the main distributor for Garmin, and then they are now changing their view into sports, because they find out that sports really make money. Like they are creating all these GPS watches, which helps the runner to know how long they ran. And then they have comes with all this heart rate monitor, the chest strap that you can put on your tight on your chest, and then you can know your heart rate, how many beats per minute.
Yeah, besides
so
GPS,
which all these technologies helps in.
System.
Yes, it helps in to improve your performance, because you know how you're gonna train. Like you want to train on maybe 60% easy run, then you should follow the heart rate, something like that. This is how they make money, because they turn it to sport, because they now find out that sports.
Yes, because they are
it's all about making money.
Covering that niche in the market.
Yes.
And it's very common that we can see almost every runner have a GPS watch.
Yeah,
it's either Garmin or other brands.
Yes, true.
So it's true, which means the market is huge.
Yeah.
And beside Garmin, maybe your shoes or what other
I
brands
also
actually
got
support?
sponsored by Mizuno recently.
Oh, that's
So,
great.
That's a big brand.
Actually, it's a World of Sports. They are the main Mizuno distributor as well. And then I got a few pair of shoe, and at the moment it's very good. I mean, their technology, they are from Japan.
Right.
This branding, this Mizuno shoe, and then I've personally tested it on a few races. I mean, it's very light in terms of the grip. The running shoe, especially the Mizuno Wave Emperor, is actually a good racing shoe. Like last 2 days ago, I ran it in the Standard Chartered KL Marathon for 10 km, and I find it is different from the other shoe, that it's light, and then it's able for you to like the grip down there, the bottom of the shoe, the grip there is actually a very good quality, good grip that you can really push further every steps. It's actually a good shoe. I would recommend it.
Yes.
You should learn from Mr. So.
Yes.
See how he's a good advertiser.
Yes, and I'm also using Mizuno also, right? I use Mizuno
Emperor
for my short distance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, with Emperor is actually more to running maximum a half marathon, I would suggest. If it's a full marathon, I would recommend something more cushion, because it's a 42 km. It's a different thing. It's a different ball game. Yeah.
So
thanks to Mizuno.
Beside Mizuno,
Yeah. Other than Mizuno, okay, I also have the Curexo. It's actually a German technology that I use it to put to replace the insole from the Mizuno shoe, from the Wave Emperor. I remove the insole and I put this Curexo in. It's actually a insole. It customized fit into your running arch. Like we have a 3 arch, high arch, medium arch, and a flat foot. So we have these 3 types. And then I happen to be a high arch fit, so I need to use an high arch customized insole that's proven actually from all this research have been done, that prove to enhance your running stride as well. It gives you more support. Like those people, like if you have no idea about all this running shoe, you need to know at least your running arch, so that you can buy a shoe that fit into your arch, that give you more stability every strike.
Wonderful technology.
Yeah, you might get ankle sprain because of you using a different kind of shoe that not supporting your arch. You don't have the stability at all. So this is how important all this technology helps in.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. That's reminded us during our early days we only have one Pata of Fong Kiong. That's all rounder.
Reminds me of African runners. They're even more powerful.
Yes.
Not only they don't have arches, they don't even have
shoes.
Yeah.
Yes, we actually there's a
it?
mixed culture in the running arena. We have those who are very pro towards shoes, and some are very pro towards without shoes.
Yeah.
So, and during the recent marathons, we actually see the group actually finish the whole marathons without shoes, barefoot.
Yeah.
So actually,
perfect arch.
Barefoot running is a good thing, but it takes a lot of endurance and take a lot of training.
Yes.
And
in order to get
a
used
lot
to
of
it.
people actually gives up halfway
Yeah.
because the injury intensity is too high.
Yeah, they should start off slowly, running on grass, in order for you to train barefoot. Barefoot actually is a good thing because it's a human nature of running. Like in the early stone
most
ages,
natural, yeah.
there's no shoe,
Yeah.
so people run to hunt for food. They run barefoot. So actually, barefoot they have a more better speed because you use all these mini tiny muscles.
And you are using all your
feet.
bones, all your
Yes.
muscles to
Right.
actually support
Yeah,
your runs.
if you're using a running shoe, that's actually somehow it blocks like
Certain
muscle can't be activated when you're running with shoes. But running barefoot, you can activate almost all, and then it's actually a better way of running. But it's hard to justify it as well because running shoe has its technology as well. It might help you in terms of saving energy, running efficiency. So yeah, it's actually
It's pro and cons about
pro
the
and
two
cons,
things.
and it's a people preference.
It's
yeah.
a preference, so
Yeah.
we can't say which one is better.
Yeah.
So we can see that Wei Cheng here have been supported by Garmin for the GPS
Yeah.
watch,
Mizuno's
for his shoes, and the
Correct.
Correct Sole for his
insole. Other than that, yeah.
I think Sony also supported you.
yeah,
for
Sony
the
yes
headset,
also supporting me a Walkman.
a
Like,
Walkman.
what music does? I mean, there are a few study as well. They
Improves your rhythm, right?
actually a lot of study doing on this how music affect your running performance. Like you can download musics, those with rhythm, those with special kind of beats, metronome inside the you can follow the tune like 180 190 beats per minute, so you can running with all these beats that improve your cadence. So these cadence are actually okay, to be in a layman term, cadence is actually how many steps per minute you're running. So we actually recommend 180 and above for an elite, or for any runner. We should run at least 180 to be safe, to be minimize the risk of injury. 180 steps per minute is like 3 steps per second. So that's a good way of running, other than because nowadays people they are overstriding. They're running about 160. I'm used to 165 before. It's like 165 steps per minute.
Bigger steps lah.
A bigger
Yeah, a
steps.
bigger step overstriding, and then causes you to land on your
Heels and
then
cause
you got
injury.
injury, back injury, and so on. But thankfully, I have not injury because of all this heel landing. Yeah. So it's actually an important. All this music, they help you to actually
Control your rhythm.
they disturb your. I mean, your attraction are not only thing of running. They let you enjoy the music and your favorite songs. You can put in your favorite songs. Then you can run an hour, 2 hour without boring. It's like yesterday I did a morning run in the track Arena. I running alone. Thankfully, with this Walkman WS413 series, is a Walkman that you can put in. There's an internal memory. You can put in your favorite songs. I listened for it for an hour, and then I did an hour on the field.
Wow.
I clocked 15 km.
Wow, that's
So running
great.
alone is like, if without all this, you really boring.
right?
Yeah,
Boring,
I
yes.
used to train alone, so I really need this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are almost closing us before we close, maybe we have one final question for Wei Cheng. Maybe Wei Cheng would like to give a few words of advice to our listeners or our young people who want to aspire to follow this path as a sportsman in their career.
And also to at the same time explore all the ways that
This
you can make money,
money,
and do some marketing
yes.
in these sports avenues.
Yeah. Okay. So from my personal opinion, I would advise that it's not easy to be a student athlete. In any things that is actually not easy. Like to earn the money is also not easy. It's actually all your hard work that helps in. Like I would recommend, if you wanted to be a student athlete or be an athlete, like if you earn enough, like maybe you're making money actually. So I recommend you take into sports. These sports actually makes you a more disciplined person. In Malaysia, what I find out is nowadays all these teenagers, all these youngsters, even some of my friends, but I'm not mentioning anyone, that we have an appointment, let's say at about 10 a.m. But that ends up they came at 10:30, 10:45.
Not punctual.
Yeah,
Not
not punctual. So actually, sports does makes you a disciplined person. Like for me, when I took in this running, I every day wake up at 6, and then I go to the track. I went to the track. I wake up. I stay in college, in the University of Malaya. I wake up at 6, and then I walk. I get ready, everything. I walk to the track. 6:30, I start off my training. Every day, day in, day out, is like that. And then I sleep early. So it's actually nowadays I realize and I find out all my friends, they are like sleeping late. Like they can sleep even in the morning, 2 a.m.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like
So end of the day they woke up like a zombie.
yes. And then it's actually sleeping is very important after I took in sports. Sleeping helps in a lot of things like your focus, your attention, your memory as well. How you retrieve back all your memory to be in your study as well. It helps you into focus your study. And then I would recommend take up sports. You can start off with jogging, because jogging is the most cheapest sports in the world. Other than, let's say you're doing other sports like golf, you need a golf stick, which are very, very expensive. And then you can taking off maybe what sports we have now, a basketball. You need to get the shoe, the gear, and then the basketball, and then you need a company.
And basketball court.
Yeah, a basketball court. And then for a runner, it's very easy. You just need a pair of shoes, or you can run without shoe. But I would recommend you run on the field lah. Don't run on the road straight away. You might get blister, and then the next day you will blame running because you feel pain on your feet because of blister. So I would recommend you get a running shoe and then go for a jog. Like jog, you can listen to your music for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe 3 times a week, and then you will find out running does help you in improving your fitness. That it's actually can be used as emergency. Like let's say anything happen, you need to snatch your bags or something like that. You can chase, you can ask, you can shout. Not like if for a sedentary people, they don't take sports. When someone take advantage on you, like they snatch your items, then you need to, how you gonna chase them? How you gonna like without anyone helping you, you got to do something. So with all these sports, actually you can like run for your life.
And speaking of running away from thief, I remember an article recent few months back or maybe last year, a news somewhere in Europe. This thief actually went into a running shop to steal things.
Yeah.
But it ends up he got caught by the shopkeeper because the shopkeeper are tremendous runners, are elite runners.
Yeah, that's the thing. And then like sometimes I run around the park. The dog chase me. And
so
then,
you can run faster than the dog.
Yeah, I really run faster than dog. And then at that time, I might run faster than Usain Bolt. Who knows that? Because the adrenaline comes in. Like when you are in emergency, all these hormones comes in, and then you can run really fast that you don't know your capability of when you are in emergency situation. So running also can helps you in terms of you having a good healthy lifestyle. You can, like I'm from my experience, I've seen a family, they run together every weekend. They run together. They go to the park. They went to the park and then they run, which help them like they can enjoy with their family together. Because nowadays we all have all this smartphone, which actually
they created the bonding, and they have actually families activities together.
Yes,
so
it's actually more better.
Yes, it's much better, and we have actually. Times is not in our hand at this moment, and Wei Cheng actually shares a lot of important points with our listeners. Yeah. So we would like to thank Wei Cheng for coming into our studio, have a chat with us, and sad to say it, we have to come to the end of our show today. Right? We hope that you have enjoyed as much as we enjoy making it.
Yeah. Other than that, I forgot to say that I have actually a Facebook page. So maybe you guys can know more about it. You can search on Facebook, Saw Wai Ching, SOH space WAI space CHING, and then a dash athlete. Then you will know more about me. I will share more information about running. So if anything you want to know, you can actually PM me. I can get you some info on how to start running.
Well, yeah, that's great. And to chip in a few more words, Wai Ching is actually a part-time coach now. So those who are looking for coaches actually can look up for him.
You mean can make money?
Can make money. Actually, this young man already started to make money by doing some coaching. Yeah. Right? And sad to say, once again, we have come to the end of our show for today. We hope you enjoy it as much as we enjoy making it. We will be back with a brand new durian main story for our next editions on ASEAN Biz soon.
Thank you.
Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.